Can the Auburn Tigers get it together and make a bowl game? Let's talk about it on this live edition of the Uptempo Podcast. Yes, sir. Good evening, Auburn family. Uptempo gang. Welcome to the latest edition of the Uptempo Podcast. Justin Smith and Blake Lane back with you on this bye week. We're just hanging out. We got a whole lot of games to watch Saturday, Blake, and we don't have to worry about one. A packed slate, man, in the college football world. I'm actually going to be watching a lot of them from my laptop inside Wahoo Stadium. I will be covering Florida State, coming into my hometown here at Pensacola to take on the Auburn Tigers, and what is going to be, very, very excited. Kind of a really cool deal, man. Like, my Auburn Tigers playing in my hometown ballpark. I'm going to be getting it covered. I'm pretty pumped up for it, dude. But we're here to talk about some football. How can the Auburn Tigers make a bowl game? Is it even possible? We're probably bugging a bit just even asking the question. But man, Blake, you missed Tuesday night. Glad to have you back. I know you got some comments on what happened this week on Next Round Live and just this whole situation that just won't seem to go away from that fourth down play against Georgia.
Man, when I saw the interview, my jaw dropped because a fifth-year senior, and we're at the midway point of the season, and we're doing live interviews, and this is what we get out of it. Is a player throwing the coach under the bus? Is the coach throwing a player under the bus? This is what I hear on Twitter. All right, these are the conversations that are being had. You got a beat writer taking up for the player. Got a beat writer in everybody's mentions taking up for the player, saying, no, that's not what happened. What are we doing? There's a lot of confusion going on. Hey, guess what? How about no more interviews? How about no more Next Round Live? Just to clear it all up. Just to clear everything up and say, hey, we don't really give a damn whose fault it was at this point. Let's just clear it all up. No more interviews. Once again, there's things Auburn has to clean up at the microphone. At the microphone, there are things Auburn has to clean up. There's times where you just take the high road, man. You just, hey, it was on me. It was on me. I saw something, and come to find out, I was wrong. I was wrong. Just take the high road. That's it. And that's you included.
Yeah.
Everybody. There's things that you say in-house, all right? I'll take y'all here. I was watching the Broncos play Sunday. Bo Nix makes a throw. Throws a dime. Troy Franklin drops it. The Broncos ended up having to punt. As Bo walks off the field, Sean Payton gets in his tail. And Bo turns around and goes back at him. All right? They're both arguing. What do you think the first question was asked in the post-game media? Bo, can you walk us through the conversation that you had with Sean Payton? What went on there? Why were you two arguing? Bo didn't say, oh, well, I saw this, and I checked the play to this, and I like this route. I like that 9 route to Troy Franklin, and Sean liked this. No, there wasn't none of that. Bo said, oh, well, when I come off the sideline, he said, hey, Bo, I love you. And I turned around and said, love you too, coach. All right? Because there's stuff that you just don't need to air out there. When people ask that, just say, hey, look, I saw something. I tried to make a play. It didn't happen. That's it. Georgia got the ball. They beat us. We lost. We move on to Missouri. Got to clean things up, man. It's on the field and off the field. there's still things that need to be cleaned up. As far as, afterwards, and then Hugh coming out and saying, yeah, he was right, or whatever. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does.
Because 1 minute Hugh saying this, the next minute Hugh saying that, the next minute Peyton saying this. I don't know what's going on. It's like Ricky Bobby and Talladega Nights. Hey, I don't know what to do with my hands right now. All right? It's just, there's confusion, and not everybody's on the same page. Really, really weird to me that we're this far into the season. This is your second year together with Hugh and Peyton, and you're still having these issues.
Remember, it's all Philip Montgomery's fault, Blake.
There you go. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, how does this happen? You talk before you go on Next Round Live, right? Like Hugh and Peyton have a conversation. You gotta say, hey man, look, when you go on Next Round Live, don't say this, okay?
Yeah.
I'm just being real, like
Right,
you gotta air things out before crap like that happens. Because the first thing people are gonna do on Twitter is they're gonna grab that clip and they are gonna run with it. They're going to run with it. Even though your biggest rival lost to Vanderbilt, they grabbed that clip and they took off with it. Hey, look at this. They took off with it. Guess what? You're still 2-4, and your quarterback's making mistakes like this. Your head coach, they're not on the same page. I don't know. I thought it was going to be better. I was told it was going to be better. I was told it was going to be cleaner. There was going to be less mistakes. The lie detector test determined that was a lie. Maury Povich ain't walking through that door. All right. It's I don't know, man. It's a really, really weird thing to me that year two, this far into the season, you're still having these same stumbles. And that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I agree with you. And, Peyton Thorne won't be here next year. So if it happens next year, I'm going to start looking around and saying, well, Philip Montgomery's fault, and then it was Peyton's fault. And
Yep.
What's the one thing remaining here? It's funny you mentioned the Bo Nix point, because before you went there, I had wrote down Bo Nix point, but I was going to bring up a different one. He threw an interception earlier in the year, and it looked like there was a miscommunication between him and the receiver. And the reporter asked him, Bo, kind of what happened there? Was it a miscommunication between you? Did you run the wrong route? Did you make the wrong read? What happened there? And Bo said, I threw the ball to the other team. They called it. It was a change of possession. That's literally what he said.
Yep.
He said, I can't do that. So maybe it was the receiver's fault. I mean, I don't know. But, the point is to your point you made about him in the Sean Payton situation, that's how you answer it, man. We're too honest at the mic. A little bit too honest at the mic. As a podcast person, as a media person, I like it. It gives us all kind of stuff to talk about. Keeps the interest up. But as an Auburn fan, I freaking hate it, man. And it's funny because I'm not kidding you. I saw that clip. I was at work of the Next Round Live, and I had something quote tweeted, and I didn't hit send on it because I was like, man, I just want to be positive. It's the bye week. I just want to stay positive. There are recruits that like my tweets, current commitments that like a lot of my tweets, that kind of stuff. I was like, I don't feel like doing this week. And then as I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, but they see it anyway.
Yeah.
They see it anyway, whether what I say or not. So then it's like, it's just, to me, it's really, it's the same thing you do on the field in a lot of ways. You're shooting yourself in the foot off the field. That whole situation was unnecessary. Peyton easily, I'm sure he has an NIL deal with the Next Round Live or whatever, so he can do it. But he easily could have been like, hey, man, we're past that. Me and Coach have discussed it. We got that issue fixed internally, and it's not going to happen moving forward. There's a million ways to answer that other than you actually trying to break it down. And then on Hugh Freeze, same thing. Just say, hey, I'm the head coach. Clearly it didn't work. Clearly was a miscommunication. It all falls back on me, or try to get it fixed. Next question. Like, to keep doing all that, bro, you're stoking the fire, and it's unnecessary. We weren't going to win the game anyway, but you're adding to the narrative of crazy old Auburn ain't got the stuff together. It's Thursday of the bye week, Blake, and this is still being talked about in the national media.
You know what's crazy too is right before Peyton starts breaking it all down, he says,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to leave that one at the door." And then literally 2 seconds later, he breaks the play down. I'm like, "Brother, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? You just said you were going to leave it at the door." Like you said, too honest at the mic. We need to bring it
Yeah.
back in a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another thing, a great example is your rival loses to Vanderbilt. They have a fifth-year senior throw a hissy fit at the end of the game. I didn't mind the mouthpiece, throwing the mouthpiece, but pushing Pavia's head into the dirt and kicking the ball and everything. Whatever. But DeBoer gets up to the mic. They say, "First question, what do you think's coming first? It nothing to do with the game. What do you think's coming first?" DeBoer said, "Hey, look, it's over with. It's done. Get why he's passionate. We've discussed it. It's been handled. Move on." It was really, really short. It was dry, and it was quick. It's over with. We're done. We're moved on. Let's play our season out. It wasn't, well, hey, look, let me break down what happened
Yeah.
and let me break down what we did in his punishment. We made him run stadiums all freaking night. All
You
right.
got a culture council.
Yeah, and all this stuff, like they didn't go into all that. It was short and sweet. Hey, we've moved on. Let's continue to play our football season. We gotta roll it in a little bit and stop being so open at the mic.
Yeah, I agree with you, brother. So to get into our question of the night, I'm gonna use this to kind of transition into that. I don't think anybody was throwing anybody under the bus. I think
Yeah.
yet again there was a real miscommunication. I've done some digging and I've got a couple of different stories, which tells me I don't think anybody's intentionally lying.
Yeah.
I think there's a real disconnect. I think somebody thought one thing, somebody else thought another. Obviously, the running back thought something. Like, it's just not. It's just we're just not on the same page, man. So going forward, you're 2-4. To make a bowl game, you've got to go 4-2. Is it a daunting task? Yes, it is, but it's not impossible. Like, I understand that right now Vanderbilt's the talk of the SEC, and they should be. But they still lost to Georgia State. Like, that's not a team that Auburn's going to face off again against, and you're like, we have no shot here.
Yeah.
And
Auburn
it
can
is,
beat them.
yeah, like you should beat them. UL Monroe. I'm sounding the alarm now. We better watch out because all UL Monroe's 4-1, and I fell in love with UL Monroe just because of the video game. So I've been watching them on ESPN Plus, and but listen, they got everything Auburn doesn't intangible wise. I'm talking about everything Auburn doesn't. And after watching that New Mexico State game last year, don't tell me if we don't show up and just walk in there like we're going to beat somebody.
Yep.
You do that to that UL Monroe team, and Auburn will lose to them at home. I promise you that.
They beat a very good James Madison team the other day.
Yeah, and the UAB Blazers had that the head coach of ULM was the OC whenever Bill Clark stepped down for health reasons, and they went instead and hired Trent Dilfer. And how dumb are y'all looking right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, UAB, that's a mess over there. You got to fix that up. Trent Dilfer's been so disrespectful to that job that it pisses me off as an Auburn fan that has no affiliation whatsoever. But I do want to see the schools in Alabama thrive outside of the one, obviously. And yeah, man, like that situation sucks. Trent Dilfer, you're a clown, dude. Like, just shut up and go away. But yeah, so my thing here is, Blake, is if we're gonna go 4-2 and do all this,
Yep.
the stuff like this week can't happen. It's time to have the in-house meeting, whatever you got to do, and hunker down. Like, all right, the honesty at the mic, time to stop. I've appreciated it for the first year and a half, Hugh. It's been great. Brother, it just don't work when you're losing.
Yeah.
When you're 2-4, everything gets dissected. And I think it's just time to batten down the hatches and keep everything in-house publicly. Stop shooting yourself in the foot, man. There was no reason. You just flipped a 5-star quarterback. And no one expected you to beat Georgia, so there's no reason for you to add negative headlines. You're getting predictions that you're going to flip Naheem Alford. I'm feel pretty confident about a commitment that's going to be coming this weekend. We'll get that in there to our members. So yeah, like there's a lot of stuff off the field that you should be promoting. Man, if I was Auburn, I'd be, and I know they have been kind of on social media, I'd be pumping up. Look at these freshmen, dude. Look at these freshmen, and Jalen Crawford getting national awards for freshman defensive back of the week, and all, and Caleb Harris and Malik Blockton making the first the All American midseason team and all that kind of stuff. And you got to think that DeMarcus Reddick will be on the postseason one, right?
Yep.
He's coming on strong. So like, I would be marketing that, and instead, you got this goofy crap going on, and it just you can't. It not only does it affect the message, but it affects it affects on the field too, bro. So I think that if Auburn's going to try to go 4-2 and get to a bowl game, obviously it's going to start at Missouri, and like I'm just going to continue to say it, man. I've been saying it since we've been doing this podcast. Auburn will be in a tight game at Missouri. I do believe that. I think it'll be a one-score game in the fourth quarter. Make the opportunity is going to present itself. It's going to be right there. If you make that play, you're 3-4, and I bet you don't have a week of negative headlines. Watch what a win does. If Auburn goes and beats a ranked Missouri team on the road, watch the narrative the next week. It'll be amazing how all of a sudden everybody's getting along and everything's great. Yeah, that's what winning does. Hell, dude, every week a Georgia player gets arrested. Does it? Yeah, we look at it and go, oh my God, what's going on there? But no one really cares because they win every week. And I'm not saying that that's like, I don't want Auburn to go that path. Like, it does look ridiculous. But I'm just saying, man, like, winning cures everything. Like, it beat them, bro. Beat them. Beat Missouri and watch what happens. And I think you'll see a little bit of like, this team needs a win, right? Like they need a win to kind of believe in themselves and all that again. And X's and O's wise, Blake, and I think you'll agree with me. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Offensively, I think the game plan versus Georgia is how Auburn should play it. If Peyton Thorne's going to be the starter, and even if Hank Brown, you would still do this, but you got 6 games left of this. I think the game plan offensively versus Georgia, because I think that remember that fourth down play was the first play of the fourth, and then Georgia gets possession and they score. So you get the ball back with like 13 minutes to go, down 18. You're not going to turn around and hand it to Jarquez there. Like at that point, that would be dumb. But I think that if Hugh stuck with the run as long as he could for that game. So I think that if Auburn is going to have that kind of season going forward, we've seen since PT got inserted back in at halftime at Arkansas, the one drastic turnover versus Oklahoma.
Yep.
So that's 10 quarters of football, 1 turnover from PT. I think that game plan versus Georgia, if you do that, I think that the defense will be able to hold up, and I think that's the route to get to 6-6.
Yeah,
offensively anyway.
I want to go back to that play against Georgia, the fourth down with all the confusion. Is what I want to say is I don't need Peyton Thorne to play hero ball. Like your teammates, they're behind you, big dog. Like I don't need you checking the play and you because you see something. 27 is standing right next to you. Just give him the ball. Just give him the ball. I don't need you playing hero ball and trying to make a play. And I don't want the ball in your hands. Matter of fact, when the game is on the line, I want it in 27's hands. End of story. All right. I don't know. When it comes to that play, I feel like 10 people were all working together and one person was not. And so my belief, I hold that it was PT. He looked and he saw something. Obviously it wasn't there. But he saw something and he changed the play. And my belief is he wanted to play hero ball and try to pick up the first down by himself. And hey, that's just me though. I could be totally wrong, but we can't have that moving forward. We got a pound 27, and I like what Hugh did Saturday. Look, we weren't beating Georgia, and I could have told you this when the half ended the way it did. The final 8 minutes, the final 4 minutes of that first half were atrocious. They were just a complete loss of momentum going into our locker room. The clock management was rough. The shot to Cam Coleman, I didn't like because you stopped the clock for Georgia, and you were going to have to punt it out of your own end zone. Um, thank goodness Oscar Chapman makes an athletic play on the snap, because usually when a punter has to bend over and pick it up off his damn shoelaces and with his heels on the line, it's either getting blocked or he's mishandling the snap and it's a safety, or he gets pushed out the back of the end zone. All right, but he gets it off, and you give up the lucky touchdown, whatever. I liked the game plan. It just wasn't going to go our way. And after that happened and we went into the locker room, I kind of knew it was over. And so I liked the fight that we showed. But when we go to Como and we play this Missouri team, oh, their defense is cheese. Yeah. Their defense is complete buns. They can't tackle. They get beat. They have a lot of busted coverages. They got absolutely abused in both sides of the trenches against Texas A&M Saturday. Their best player gave up when it was 17-0. He put a towel over his head and he was sucking on a pacifier on the sideline. And I'm a huge Luther Burden fan. I think he's one of the best receivers in the country. But I was a little shocked when I saw that.
Me too.
And I was like, hey, man, what are you doing? You're the guy. You're the guy at Missouri. You're the face of that program. What are you doing?
And a lot of football was left. A whole lot of football left to play in this game.
It was 17-0. Yeah. Just watch Georgia come back on Alabama down 30-7 in 30 minutes of football, bro. What are we doing? And you're over here crying on the sideline, acting like you're Stephon Diggs. So there's things going on in Como right now that hey, I know they only got one loss, they're ranked, but they got beat to sleep, and people are questioning, like, hey, how good are they? Are they really a top 25 team? Mm-mm. I don't think they are either. When I was watching them play Texas A&M, I tweeted, I said, hey, man, we can beat Missouri. We can beat Missouri. We can run all over Missouri. Jarquez might have 130, 150. Because I don't think they're good. So you got to limit the mistakes. I feel like our offensive line has played much better. I've for the most part, there's Percy Lewis. We can talk about that another day. But for the most part, it's looked, and especially in run blocking. But we got to make plays too. That's another thing. Just staying on the offensive side of the ball, our receivers have got to make plays when the plays are there. We got to go up and get balls. We got to high point balls. We got to stop letting things come into our chest and catching it with our chest. I notice that sometimes too. I'm not a huge fan of that. But when the plays are there to make, we got to make them. And we're not right now. And you can't expect to beat a team like Georgia when you don't make those plays. Everybody's like, well, that was a tough ball for Malcolm. Do you want to be in a game like Georgia and Alabama? Or do you want to keep getting beat to sleep the way we are? It's because you don't make those plays. Got to make them. Defensively, I ain't going to say a word about our defense. Our defense did the damn thing Saturday. And they've been getting better each and every week. I can't really say a whole lot of bad things about our defense. The linebackers, I can kind of go down that road because I expect better, especially out of senior guys and upperclassmen who I thought would absolutely bring the lunch pail to work every day. But I see the babies out there and they're working, and I think they're headed for great careers at Auburn. I think our defense is going to be absolutely loaded here in the next year or two. And so when I look at, can Auburn get to a bowl game, I think the way you got to attack this is like you said, Dustin, go get a dub at Mizzou. Then you're going to have a lot of momentum. You go to Lexington. I know their defense is good, but Auburn will have a chance. They will be in that ball game because their offense isn't great.
Right.
Their offense isn't great. They're not going to score 40. So you're not going to get in like this shootout, where you got to try to keep up and Peyton's got to air it out and all this stuff. And then who do you get after Kentucky? Vandy?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got Pavia. You played him last year. You're familiar. They pretty much run the same system, and they're in that scheme that Pavia really likes. I think our defense can not stop him. I think they can contain him a little bit more than Alabama did. I think we match up a little. I'm not going to say a little better, but I think we match up with them pretty good. I don't think they're coming into Jordan Hare and scoring 40. And so, you got to attack those three, and that leaves you ULM. And you can't sleep on ULM, right? You said that, especially after what happened last year with New Mexico State. General Booty's got that team. Their offense is rolling. They play good defense. Huh?
He got benched.
Did he?
He got benched. Now this is kid Aneta,
Wow.
and their offense is struggling. It's just their defense is legit, and they just again all the intangibles. And so General Booty's out, and they put in this Aneta guy, and he can run. He's not really an accurate passer, but he moves the ball with his feet. And they're kind of going with the whole run the clock because they know they got a really good defense. So they've kind of reined it in, and they're playing that game.
So they beat James Madison this past Saturday, correct?
Yeah.
Where was that
21-19 in ULM.
Ooh. Man, James Madison was getting playoff love.
Yeah, they had a 32% chance of making the playoffs according to ESPN's little thing before that game.
Oh, man. So you got ULM, and then you got A&M at home. A&M's playing pretty dang good ball right now.
Yeah.
They're starting to hit their stride. They got their quarterback back. They're starting to talk about them possibly being a playoff team. And then you got Alabama and Tuscaloosa. Boy, where could we be at there? I don't know. I don't know if that looks so much like a loss anymore.
Right.
Coming into the season, people were saying that was a guaranteed loss. Now that we look at it, they lost to Vandy. They were in a tight game with USF in the fourth quarter. So it's the Iron Bowl. Nobody knows. So there's a shot. But once again, I fall back and I say, you got to show me, man. Because each and every week, you make plays that lose games. And you continue to shoot yourselves in the foot. You continue to blow your load. You do. You're the same team every Saturday. Whether it was the middle eight this past Saturday in Athens, it was that middle eight. I could have texted you right before half. I knew Georgia was going to score. I knew it. I told my dad, I said, they're going to score going into half, and it's lights out from there. You can't let a team like Georgia score right there. And you find a way to let them drive it right down the field and score on you. And it's the same crap every single week, man. You find different ways to lose games. I'm not mad about Georgia. I didn't think we would beat Georgia. But it's still the same mistakes are happening. You're still not getting off the field on third down. That's got to change. At Missouri, that's got to change. It's the same things, man.
To your so let's sunshine pump a little bit. Auburn goes on this winning streak. Mm-hmm. Let's say Auburn wins the next 4 games. And again, somebody in the comment, that ain't happening, idiot. I just said we're sunshine pumping a little bit. Yeah. Let's say Auburn beats Missouri, sees the ball go through the hoop, as I've been saying, and you get up there and you get a win versus Kentucky, you get Vandy at home, and you get a ULM. Highly unlikely, but Not impossible. I can make the arguments Auburn's the most talented team in all 4 of those games. At least like right there with Missouri, and then the next 3 Auburn has the more talented roster. So let's say, and the only game that Auburn hasn't been in this year was Georgia, and even then, looking at the box score, the difference in that game was 3rd down. Auburn lost the Georgia game on 3rd down. You look at every box score this year, it's the turnovers, right? We all know that. So let's just say Auburn does that, okay? So you lose to A&M. I'm starting to be worried that Mike Elko has unlocked the sleeping giant that has been A&M forever, and that worries the hell out of me. But so say you lose to A&M, okay? Say you lose a close game, they get you. Wouldn't you still? The thing that I'm thinking about if you're going into the Iron Bowl under that scenario, after you beat Missouri and beat Kentucky, the whole like we can't close the game out. The whole like everything that's weighing on the program right now would be eliminated under that scenario, right? Like you would start to gain confidence.
Yeah.
So right now, I can't picture us going into Tuscaloosa with any confidence.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put together a little winning streak, hey, all of a sudden you feel like you can. And then if you get out there and you make a couple plays on them, and then you realize you're in a tight ball game, okay. So like that would be the thing that although you look at it right now and you're like, man, there's no way Auburn's going to go into Tuscaloosa and win. If they start putting some wins together, then the psyche kind of starts changing, right? And that would be something to look for there. And when you were talking about the pass dropped in the end zone by Malcolm Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be fair here to our quarterbacks, any of them. All summer long, and I love Malcolm, but all summer long we said that the receivers were going to elevate the quarterback play. So I don't want to hear, well, if that was a little bit further out in front of him, he would have called it. Nah, buddy, it was there. Catch the damn ball. On the Cam Coleman interceptions, both of them. And I understand the one versus Cal was worse, but I don't care because I've seen some of the dumbest catch I've ever seen in my life from Cam Coleman. Catch the ball. Because all offseason, forget what we said. Forget what anybody in the podcast or media scene said. What did the coach say? What did the players say? They said, now we got the guys to where it doesn't have to be a perfect pass every time. And now we're in the season and people hate Peyton Thorne so much, they're like, well, it wasn't a perfect pass. Well, damn it, which one is it?
Facts.
That's a catchable ball that Malcolm Simmons catches 9 times out of 10. It's a touchdown. Peyton Thorne didn't have any touchdowns in the game. He threw a touchdown pass.
Mm-hmm.
The receiver didn't catch it. So, and then we can talk about we can say, well, Hugh Freeze said he was going to call better plays in the red zone. Sure. He dialed one up right there to a guy that we've all been saying, get the ball to. We got to get the ball to 11. Get the ball to 11. And then he drops the ball in the end zone. So it's just a whole team, man. And we've been saying it forever, Blake. It's just the culture of not knowing how to win, not knowing how to close the games out. And, it's one of them things where, and I said it Tuesday night, you can't get into the locker room. You can't get into a film session and draw up how to be clutch.
Nope.
How to stop having the yips. You just got to go make it happen. You can only performing in that moment will change it. There's not a damn thing else that'll change it besides the next time it arrives, do it.
The 4th and 1, the play action Pavia went over the top.
Yeah.
Guy got behind Malachi Moore. He had to extend to catch that ball. We drop that ball. We drop it. We find a way to drop it. Just off the tips. I mean, it's the same thing. We find a way to drop that football. You can't tell me any different, and that is the difference in Vanderbilt beating Alabama and Auburn being 2-4. Man, you can laugh at Vandy all you want to about losing to Georgia State, but they made plays. Last Saturday, they made plays. I watched them play Virginia Tech. They made plays on 3rd down. Their receivers caught balls in traffic. Their running backs, yards after contact. They didn't stop driving the legs. They made people miss to pick up a yard. It's the difference in beating the number one team in the country and being 2-4. It's and poor Keandre Lambert Smith, man. Hey, our apologies that you come down here for this, and you had to go through this because you're a dog and we don't deserve you. Uh, you're going to make a lot of money on Sundays, and I think it's great that he's getting Bolitnikoff
Yeah.
award finalist love and all that stuff. I think it's great for Auburn in the recruiting game. Caleb Cunningham, shout out to you if you're watching. Um, it's it sucks because he's going to go for 1,000 yards this year, and coming into the season, if we thought somebody was going for 1,000 yards, we would be thinking that we won 9-10 ball games, bro. Like that was my thoughts. I was thinking, hey, 8 wins. We might have somebody go for 1,000, but I don't think so. I'll lean on Jarquez getting 1,000 rushing yards. But if you would have told me, hey man, KLS is going for 1,000, I'd have been like, bro, what? We're going 10-2. What are you talking about? Yeah, crazy season.
Yeah, it's definitely wild. If you had just shown us the box scores for the first 6 games and left out the turnovers or the final score before the first game, I'd have been like, "What? Are we 6-0, baby?" Well, hey, at least 5-1. And real quick, Blake, I want to get to the comments, but we haven't talked a lot of defense tonight, and I just want to get your thoughts on this because I agree with you. The defense is playing fine, and especially I think the coaches are doing a great job considering what they have. You see all these young guys making all these lists and stuff. They're not going to be perfect. They're true freshmen. Most of them are. But the one thing they can do, Blake, we got to create some damn turnovers, baby. We got to create some turnovers. And I think back to the Cal game last year where the offense played terrible, but you had a turnover that sets you up with a short field. You're able to make one play and punch it in. That could be the difference in some of these games. We've had 2 SEC games in a row where Auburn has not got a turnover. And we're playing good defense, but we're not making impactful plays on defense. And if we're going to make a bowl game, the defense has got to step up and give us a game where we win the turnover margin 2-0, 3-1, something like that.
Yeah, it feels like what was it? 2000. What season was it where we started off and we didn't have a turnover through like the first 8 games? Like we didn't create a turnover through like the first 8 games. It was Harson's last year.
It was really recent. Yeah, I think it was
Harson's last year.
Really
Yeah,
recent.
it was like the first 8 games we didn't create a turnover.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it feels like this year. Is we're just we're not creating turnovers, man. We got a bunch of babies out there. I think Crawford's going to be an NFL DB. Really impressed with that dude. I think he's going to be a great player. The defense is flying around. I'm super impressed with Caleb Harris. I think he's going to be another NFL guy, man. His ability to come up around the line of scrimmage, play the run, he will pop you. But these dudes got to start making some jarring plays. I see Keldrick coming and getting pressure. I need a strip sack. I need you to get that ball loose, big dog. Let's go back to Saturday night. What did Vanderbilt do? Alabama's driving midfield. They beat the tackle, and here he comes. Milrow from the blind side, never sees him. Bang, strip sack. There it is. Ball's on the ground. Vandy hops on top of it. There you go. Turnover. You got to have turnovers to win games. You got to create them. And we're not creating them. We're not making life easy for our offense. We're not. Every time, I'm tired of getting pinned inside the damn 5-yard line.
Yeah, line, bro. Jesus Christ.
I mean, how many times have we been pinned inside the 5? You're making it to where your offense has got to go 85 yards every drive to score. You gotta get a pick. You gotta create a fumble, something. Get the ball. Get your offense in plus territory where they only have to go 30 yards, man. Put up more points. It's a struggle this year watching it, not being able to create them. I think Jaron Thompson made that one in New Mexico State. Obviously the Arkansas, we just couldn't capitalize in the Arkansas game. But it's been a struggle against really good teams We haven't been able to create them. I think it's going to come, though. I think you're seeing a lot of young dudes out there. I am excited for the future. Guys like Riddick, man, I know he probably didn't have the best game Saturday, but once again, I'm not going to sit on here and hype about a true freshman going up against, in my opinion, a top 2 team in the country. And, I think we're headed in the right direction, man. I really like what Durkin does, except on third down and bringing 3. I think we got to stop that. We need to crumble that up and throw it in the trash, maybe throw it in the ocean and never let it come up again, because it's not working, man. It's not. And I was listening to a podcast the other day, and I've kind of always agreed with this right here. You can't bring 3 in the SEC and be successful. It's just too good up front for you to get any kind of penetration bringing 3. It's not going to happen. You're doing nothing. You're basically wasting a play. You're wasting a defensive play call by bringing 3 guys, because the offensive lines in the SEC are just too good. This isn't the Pac-12. This isn't the Big 12. The Big 10 and the SEC. You think Penn State brings 3, Dustin?
I know they don't.
No, they don't. You think Ohio State? No. Excuse me. No, they don't. They don't, man. They bring pressure. And I think we got to get better at that on third down. Get the ball out quick. 3rd and 13, man. I want the ball out quick. I don't want time to develop routes. Yeah. I don't want time for the dig to develop over the middle. No. No. It is not. It is not the way. So other than that, I think he's doing a great job. But I think the defense is on the right track, man.
Yeah, and that kind of could play into the turnover point too, right? Heat the quarterback up on third down, maybe force him to make a mistake versus bringing 3 and sitting back. Let's get to the comments before we get out of here. You guys, please help us out. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you hadn't. B. Will's Forehead was in here before the show even started with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, big dog. He says the only correct answer to this question is it basketball season yet? It's coming. It is coming soon, and I can't wait, man, to see what Bruce Pearl's going to cook up. One of the craziest non-conference schedules I've ever seen. I certainly wouldn't do it that way, but I think Bruce believes in his team, man. I think Bruce thinks he's got a squad, because otherwise he wouldn't have us playing this damn schedule.
I think he kind of listened to the noise a little bit of you're not preparing your team for March when you just go really soft in the non-con. So beef up the non-con. The committee is going to look at you and say, hey, even if you do lose some of these games, we praise you for playing them. And if you win the SEC tournament, we won't keep you as a 4 seed. We might bump you up to a 3 seed or maybe even a 2 seed. Because I think that was the gripe last year is we won the SEC tournament, but the non-con was so weak that the committee was just kind of like, man, I just don't think Auburn – I don't think they deserve it. Yeah. So I respect Bruce, man. That's a ridiculous schedule. But I think we're going to have a ridiculous team. So what Jazzy said, 27 days away?
Yeah, 27 days away, and I'm fired up, man. Can't wait for it. We're going to start pumping out the content, too. I got something coming out next week for the members on the basketball. We got the new commitment, the shooting guard. Want to break down his film, look at him. And, yeah, basketball content will be coming out. But, listen, I got to say it, Blake, because we love basketball, I love me some Auburn basketball. But you guys dictate the content. If you want more basketball content, you got to watch it. I mean, we can do we can do a video in the middle of basketball season when football's been over for 2 months and just make up something about football, and it'll do 4 times what a basketball one will do in season. So if you want more basketball content, support it.
And then we get a comment when we do the football episode in the middle of basketball.
yeah.
And the first comment underneath the football is, y'all don't talk about basketball enough. I'm like, brother, we have talked about basketball once during the week. All right. We did a post game after the midweek game. We went live on the Saturday game. All right. Did a post game after that. We've put out about 5 different basketball episodes, and they get about 300 views.
Yeah.
All right.
None of their views add up to the one football episode.
Yeah. And so I'm just like, it is, it is what it is, but it's just crazy. We're gonna be busting our tails on this Auburn basketball content. So be ready for it.
Michael in the building says Hunter should have a minimum of 15 to 20 carries a game. I'm gonna bump it up, Michael. I don't want to see 15. The minimum is 20.
Facts.
20 to 25. You can give him 28. And most carries Darquez has had this year is versus New Mexico. No, come on now.
I put on Facebook the other day, you feed him until he can't run anymore. Period. He is the best player on your team. It's not close. You give the freaking ball to him. I don't know how hard it is to understand. I really don't. Hugh's been coaching a long time. Brother, just give it to him. Just like I told Ike the other day. I don't need you to break down film, Ike, because it's simple. 2-7. All right, because if you don't give it to 2-7, your record's going to be 2-7. So let's get it on track. Give it to 2-7.
Hey, it's not hard. You got him for 6 more games.
Yeah,
6 more games, bro. Let's use them now. My bad. Benji says Auburn won't win 5 games, much less 6. Every single D1 team will beat us. Well, Auburn does have 1 win versus a D1 team, but I hear your point, man. I mean, listen, I'm not. The title of this episode is not Auburn will make a bowl game. I'll put it that way. Madison says I agree with your hero ball comment, Blake. Yeah, it kind of goes back to pressing, right? Always, he's just been pressing since he showed up.
Yep, light's too bright.
Yeah, 100%. Brett's in the building. We appreciate you, buddy. He says, I would like to know how many RPOs are called per game versus straight handoffs because PT has the ability to hand the ball to 27 more on the RPOs. Just a thought. What do you think about this, Blake?
I think there's some times when I watch the game back, I'm like, man, he should have handed that. There's also times where the RPO is wide open and he misses it. So I don't know. I'm not big with the RPO with Peyton. I've watched it enough where I just don't think I like the first drive Saturday. There was no RPO. I think we need to go that route a little bit more. I mean, you can run RPO, but cut down on it a little bit. I maybe 5, 6, 7 play calls for RPO. I don't want to see it a whole lot anymore. I feel like that's when we turn the ball over the most. I mean, I'm just not. I don't think Peyton's the guy to run it. So until you get like that Deuce Knight or whatever, or Walker White. I think Walker White, he'll be an RPO guy. But until you get your guy to run it, I think we need to slim down on it.
Absolutely. I agree with you, man. Marshall Jones in the building says, War Eagle fellas, we appreciate you. P-Pass says, Auburn's going bowling. I love the optimism, dude. I hope so, man. I really do. It'd be big time for this program. Jonathan DeBow in the building with the War Eagle. My guy Rodney is here, says, hit that like button. Absolutely. If you have not hit it, go ahead and hit that thing for us. Jonathan says 2 of them. Perry should have had his too. Absolutely. Got to start catching the football, man.
Yep.
Buddy Skinner says, y'all are bringing it tonight, fellas. We just got to go out there and win. You got to want it and fight for it on every play. Yeah, I mean, it sounds simple, but it's kind of one of them things where, you're sitting there watching Vanderbilt and you're like, if we just had this kind of juice, we'd win some of these games. Like, all of a sudden I'm looking at Vanderbilt's not scared of nothing. They're not backing down from the moment. And then I'm watching my team that's much more talented. I see Cam Coleman not want to get in there and make a block on a 3rd down and all this kind of stuff, man. I mean, we gotta play some football, dude. Gotta just let your hair down and play ball out, baby.
Did you watch the 9-minute video they posted?
No, I haven't.
Vandy posted a 9-minute video of Saturday, and look, Clark Lee's that dude, man. Yeah. But one thing I'll say is Diego Pavia is a leader. There was some clips in there where that dude should have been in an Auburn uniform. At least contacted. At least sitting down and saying, hey, look, what is it going to take to get you here? You come to our house and diced us up. What is it going to take to get you here? Because I want that guy on my football team every single time. Before half, hey, they might be Alabama, but we're playing toe to toe. We got the lead. Don't let it slip. Let's go kick some tail. He's just that guy, man. He don't care. He's just out there to play football. He's not going to the NFL or anything like that. He just wants to play football, college football, and we didn't even contact him.
Ugh.
So that stings. That hurts. But hell of a 9-minute video from Vandy.
I'll go check it out. I said Tuesday, Blake, everything that Peyton Thorne doesn't have, Pavia has.
Yep.
Like everything you want Peyton Thorne to have, Pavia has. Then it's just like, man, but I've heard coaches say that. I'm sure you heard it growing up playing baseball, where you had one kid that was really good and just didn't try. And then you had a kid that, and I'm not saying Peyton Thorne doesn't try, and then you had the one kid that wasn't all that great, but he was at practice early, and then the coach would say, man, if I could just put what he had in you, and that's the way I felt watching. I'm like, man, if I could just put what this kid has inside my quarterback, man, we'd be okay. Marshall says, I'm Captain Obvious with a statement here, but got to finish drives, got to finish games. Yeah, man. Can't finish nothing, can't finish anything. And it's frustrating, but I'm going to keep saying what I'm saying. If you've ever been in a basketball gym and you're shooting the ball and all of a sudden you've missed 7 or 8 in a row, you take the ball, you walk up to the basket, and you just bank it in real quick from the layup, and then you walk back and start shooting your free throws or your threes again, because you just got to see the ball go through the hoop. Auburn's missed 50 shots in a row. I mean, they just got to make one. You just got to see the ball go through the hoop, man. Alex says, what are y'all hearing about Babalolio? That's a pretty quiet recruitment, man. It really is. We'll see how it goes. Getting a 5-star quarterback certainly doesn't hurt. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's that one. They're playing it pretty tight to the chest. And right now, Alex, I'm hearing some stuff, and Blake is too, about some other guys that'll be kind of joining the list or close to flipping or close to committing type thing, much more over Babalola. So right now I haven't really paid a whole lot of attention to that one. One, because it's quiet, and two, because there's going to be things that are happening in the recruiting scene before we get an answer on Babalola. Brett says, Dustin, are you watching my Stars tonight? I mean, if y'all are out there, and it depends, bro. If y'all doing that 9:30 puck drop, I'm not. I got to be at work at 5 in the morning, baby. But I am glad that hockey is back, man. Keith says, I thought Auburn's physicality matched up with Georgia's as good as we have in a long time. Completely agree with this, Keith. Completely agree with this, bro. We didn't get smashed. Percy Lewis had a bad night, but we look like, okay, now we're coming now.
Yeah, you can see the young cats up front, and I thought we were going to have a tough time stopping the run. I thought Georgia was going to try to come out and just smash us right in the mouth, and I was damn proud of those young cats up front. I thought Auburn played the run pretty well, and we just had an unfortunate break of events right there at the end of the half. And I think that's what it really got away from us. They got ball coming out of half, and you kind of let it slip right there. So maybe if we could go back and do some things differently, and them not put up 7 going into the locker room, we're probably in a much better spot. But as far as physicality, man, I thought Auburn played a pretty damn close game with Georgia. In the trenches, our DBs were pretty physical. I think Auburn is on the right track, man, with talent-wise and getting our roster right.
Yeah, I mean, what is Jalen Crawford, Caleb Harris, DeMarcus Reddick, and Malik Blockton? What do y'all think they're going to be next year?
Yeah. Dogs.
Yeah, I mean, man. And Keldrick's still going to be there. I'm just, I'm hoping Champ Anthony can come. I know that's a brutal injury, but he was showing you like, hey, I'm that guy. And that's kind of the thing that I'm seeing with this entire staff outside of quarterback. But listen, yes, even with KLS, he's having his best year ever. Mm-hmm. I'm looking across this roster, but more so for the guys that have been here multiple years, I see them getting better. Like Keldrick Falk. Yes, he's a dude. Yes, he's an NFL guy, all that. still got to be coached up, and he still is developing and taking that next step. Yes, Connor Lou's a guy, all that kind of stuff. He's still got to be coached up, and you see him getting better. So I think that you can look at this staff, man, and DeMarcus Reddick, right? Like look at how he's come on in the season. So yeah, Caleb Harris, like there are guys out here. I really feel good about the majority of the position coaches on this staff and their ability to develop. And you know, I love Jarquez, but Jarquez is about the only one of the upperclassmen I can say this about. The He's the only one of the only ones I can exclude from this, and there's a couple of exceptions, but you guys correct me if I'm wrong. Does the sophomores and the freshmen that have been brought in through high school recruiting in the Hugh Freeze tenure, do they just not look different eye test wise than the upperclassmen that came from the portal and or were leftovers from another era? Does it not just look different to you?
Yes, it does. It looks completely different, night and day. It's not even close. And I think some of the guys who are not from Hugh and staff have regressed.
Mm.
I think they've taken steps backwards. Keontae Scott, I think this is a complete letdown year. Complete letdown year. And I hate it for him. I think he's a great dude. It's just been rough, man. I mean, every week, just getting tossed around out there. Just
yeah.
I mean, every week.
It's tough. Yeah, we're about to get out of here, guys. Smash that like button, sub if you haven't. Brett says, do we have any leaders on the offensive side of the ball? I think we do, Brett, but I think they're young, buddy. I think they're young, and it just takes young guys a little bit of time to get in there and get comfortable and take that leadership role. And unfortunately, right now, there's a guy that has a C on his chest on the offensive side of the ball, who I think is a good guy. And I don't think he's like a bad leader, but he's not a dog, and his team kind of knows that. And it's hard to be a captain if you're the one clamping up in the clutch moments. Like eventually, it's like, and I love him to death, but KJ Britt from my Bucks, former Auburn linebacker, he talks more than any player I've ever seen since Ray Lewis. And he's out there getting toasted. And it's getting to the point where it's like, hey, brother, shut up. Shut up, okay? And no one wants to hear it anymore when you're not performing. So, yeah, before we get out of here, I'm going to talk to my members real quick. Listen, man, we got a lot of y'all hit me up asking me about the memberships. $3.99 a month will get you the JV squad, get you in the members only live chat, game day group chat. A lot of recruiting intel about to be coming out these next couple of days. We'd like to keep you guys informed in there. Priority apply to comments. If I see that you're a member, we're going to get you stuff up here, baby. You get early access to any interviews and videos that we do. And if we're interviewing somebody, then we'll tell you beforehand. You'll be the first one to know, and you can get questions in that we will ask our guest. And now Varsity Squad, this is where you want to be. You get the $5.99 a month. You get the recruiting update videos. You get the gameplay with you on the Xbox. We'll give you our gamer tags, get in there and play with you. Me and Blake have both played several of our members at point. It's a great time. Watch the film on the basketball. Going to have some of that coming out soon. On the recruits, got the Deuce Night one coming out for you guys. I already just did it yesterday. Dropping for you guys very soon here in the next day or so. Watch the film on the Auburn baseball. I will be at the game this weekend covering it, and I look to get lots of content out of there. I will be uploading it for our members only. So yeah, man, this is the time that you want to do it. And then next Friday night, I will be going to catch our guy Deuce Knight. He'll be back at home coming off of these like tweak a hamstring or something. They were kind of saving him for district play, so I'll be out there next Friday night. Still trying to get up to Saraland tomorrow. I had something pop up to where I got to be up really, really early Saturday morning, so might not be able to make it out there tomorrow. I'm trying to work that out, but nevertheless, man, we're pumping out tons of recruiting content for you guys and all sorts of content as we get into basketball season here. Really going to have a lot of basketball content that will be exclusive for our members. So if you're interested, just join, man. Join right there. You're going to have to do it on your laptop. Sign up. We'd love to have you in the Up-Tempo gang. Share this video out on social media. Let people know we're here, that we exist. Well, man, like 70 away from 2,000. Let's get it, guys. Let's get it for the end of this month. I know we can do it. That would be a big benchmark for me and Blake. We've been working really hard. It would mean a lot to get to that 2K. And yeah, brother, no Sunday show, obviously, because we'll have no review. So, but I'll still have some stuff coming out for the members and all that. So that's all I got tonight, Blake. It's War Damn Eagle over here, brother.
Yeah, man, War Damn. everybody just pray for my dad if you could. And hey, and sit back, enjoy some college football, and if you want to go watch some Auburn baseball, get over to Picola
Yeah, buddy.
and watch the baseball team. So, War Damn Eagle, appreciate y'all, love y'all, super chats, new members, appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. Tampa, Florida. I love y'all. I love y'all. Thinking about y'all. Y'all there in my prayers, Tampa and all the surrounding areas, man. But it's good to see everybody coming together. It's good to see politicians on the opposite side of the fence all coming together and doing the right thing and putting all the bull crap aside and just helping people out in a time of need. The state of Florida is about to show the whole country what we're about down here. They're gonna rise up. You see, I had to put the Rays hat up tonight because the damn thing ripped the top off my baseball stadium, Blake. It took the top off the trop, man.
It wasn't a real roof anyway, but
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, Blake.
We'll go with it.
Yeah, we're gonna build. We got a new one coming up anyway. They building a new one in a couple of years.
It's about damn time. That's my point. It's about damn time,
brother. You're the pastor turned around preaching to the choir. Who you telling? We've been trying for 20 years to get that thing built. All right, y'all. War Damn Eagle, man. Everybody down there in Tampa, man. I know I had a guy DM me earlier. My boy Trevor. He said he's all good. So man, I'm glad everybody's safe down there. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next Tuesday. We're out of here.
War Damn.